Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Monday.
I'm sure by now, Talk to a Girl is part of the lexicon. It's a household name. You're already fully aware. Who we now know as Haley Welch. She's got a name. Who'da thunk? She's been getting tips on fame from Shaq. She's been interviewed. She's been doing podcasts. And possibly setting up some reality TV income with her newfound fame as well. Good for her. And good for Kate Flynn, a.k.a. Oilers Girl, getting her $1 too. Don't like? Don't look. But in fact, we're actually trying to get Kate on the phone this week. We've been in touch, but fingers crossed we can make that work. She's very busy these days, as you understand. And soon will come the prophesized third viral internet girl of 2024 to round out the trifecta. Who knows? Might be from Calgary Stampede. Let us pray. We are trying to stay in the now as well. I mean, got plans for the future. It's good to be on top of things. It is. Don't get me wrong. But I did see a comment that made me laugh. Just some comment on the internet asking one of our businesses in town, hey, are you guys making any plans for the schedule for when we're going to be able to take Santa Claus photos? Thinking, whoa, okay. Don't know if we need to be scheduling like November, December just yet, but also asking about the New Year's stuff. Have they come up with the new style of merch for 2025? Have they figured out the shades, the glasses, the goofy, cheesy glasses for 2025 yet? Have they figured out what that's going to look like? We need to know. We need to plan. We need to be on the top of that. I don't know. I think that might be a little bit too much pre-planning. You might be a little too on the ball. You do you. Obviously, a little bit more prepared for life than I will ever be. But don't forget the here and now. We're not in 2025, we're in 2024, and we just barely crested over the halfway mark.
Tuesday.
Apparently, because some tattoo-covered influencer makes a popular video, I think on TikTok, about regretting them all, so too must everyone who got a tattoo in their 20s regret theirs, apparently. I've seen a handful of website articles about that very thing this morning alone. It's just one of those media circuit things. One person picks it up and they go, oh, okay, 5 more articles about the exact same thing. Forget it. Don't let some content factory of a person who is addicted to the view count let you feel bad about your tattoos, okay? Or any other expressions of individuality. It takes a lot to get a tattoo, and I'm not just talking about the money. So you should feel proud. You should feel proud about the art that adorns you. Except for that one, though. I mean, what were you thinking there? Jeez. Queens of the Stone Age frontman, Josh Homme, apparently needing emergency surgery, and to the point where shows have been canceled. A European series of shows specifically, that they say that they were trying every effort made to push through and play for everybody who had their tickets in hand, but it was no longer an option to continue. No other word as to what kind of surgery, but they had to return to the United States for it. So more to come on that. Duran, meanwhile, they are announcing a slew of U.S. dates. They're going to be on tour a little bit later on in 2024. One of their stops, going to be a lot of fun. It's Halloween night at Madison Square Garden in New York City. But full list of dates as well as tickets being available have been listed on their social media. They're going to be going on sale this Friday, and unfortunately, no shows too close to home. Stevie Nicks had a Barbie doll years ago, and now it's coming back again. And a re-release of this Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac solo musician, entire storied career, all kind of wrapped up into one, although the styling is directly taken from the Rumors cover, specifically, along with tambourine and red and black ribbons to go along with it as well. $55 US can get you one in the re-release. Pre-orders are on now.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
Hard to get through this with a straight face, and I'm sure it must have been for the original poster. Desiree, who in the Millwoods community group on Facebook, apparently, though this post has been shared across North America by now. This is just a couple days ago. I'll just read part of it. She says, oh man, how I wish this post was satire, but please admins approve it, because I am 100%, cross my heart, swear to goddess, dead serious. Missing from their certain area, one Lafont white robot vacuum responds to the name Booty Cheeks, once again needing to clarify that she is 100% serious. Somehow it managed to leave the house. It's been missing since Canada Day. It was fully charged, and it apparently can get pretty far on a full charge, so it doesn't even need to be within the Wi-Fi range. It has just gone. Found an open door or maybe window somewhere, and it's decided to move on for a better life. But, those things are expensive, so they're hoping if it can be tracked down that it will be. I hope the brand finds out how viral this post has been going, but it's Booty Cheeks. Please come home. A genuine plea to Booty Cheeks. Desiree misses you. Desiree wants you to come back. Some say Booty Cheeks is still out there, though, lightly dusting off the sidewalks of Alberta as it goes, solving problems for people in cities as it passes. You could sell the TV rights to CBC, call it The Littlest Robo.
Wednesday.
It's time for me to make a confession. Yeah, I've got a deeply embarrassing confession to make, actually. Yeah, I kind of questioned whether I was going to do this, but there was nothing that I could do about it when it happened. Last night, I sweat the bed. Yeah, feels honestly, feels good to admit it. It really does, But neither air conditioning unit in one room nor box fan blowing the cooler night air into another room could cut the heat last night. It's just too hot, and it's just gonna happen again tonight. I was drinking water all day yesterday. I was trying to remember to hydrate, and knowing that would just be a huge help in the long run. All day drinking water yesterday. I think I managed to sweat every single drop of it out while I was asleep last night. So if you too sweat the bed last night, you're not alone. Embarrassing, I know, but we'll get through this together. John Bon Jovi with sad news as he pays tribute to his mother, Carol Bon Jovi, who has passed away. He said, "Our mother was a force to be reckoned with. She was 83 years old and died at the Monmouth Medical Center in New Jersey. No cause of death given." But, of course, Bon Jovi himself and the entire family reeling from the news. The Queen tribute band that has actually been handpicked, curated by Roger Taylor and Brian May, have announced a tour. Nowhere near here, of course, in UK and in Ireland in 2025, but they did say that they handpicked the most incredible musicians for Queen Extravaganza. Who knows? And marking the 50th anniversary of Bohemian Rhapsody, they're visiting 25 different spots on their tour. Maybe a new leg will be announced for North America. And not that you get to hear her music right here on 100.5 Cruz FM, but just really interesting news in the music world. Sabrina Carpenter, pop sensation, taking the world by storm with the song of the summer. Fans have been very surprised to learn that she is actually the niece of the woman who does the voice of Bart Simpson. That's right, Nancy Cartwright. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's gone a little bit viral on the internet, and I always take these things with a grain of salt because it's pretty easy to set up this kind of thing just to make the outrage clickbait. But at face value, a man in San Diego was going to pay his bill at a bar and found a tip option, the pre-programmed ones that are on there, of 100% of his bill, a $24.50 tab at Catalina Lounge in Ocean Beach, if you care, with a 100% tip option, which would, of course, double the entire spend on I'm guessing lunch, maybe a beverage. Maybe. It is in American dollars, after all. Other tip options that were shown in the photo of the POS, point of sale, 50% tip, and then another moderate 25 and 20% option. Those are like in the range of actual what people would normally do. 100% tip option, I feel like that's a little bit misleading too, as far as it just shows the total that you also saw on your printed out bill, or you saw on the menu. Just 100%. Yeah, okay, that's the price of my bill. Click. Oh my God, double? No way. Somebody not paying attention must have fallen for that, if this is a real thing. But what I want to see, it's never going to happen, pipe dream fantasy, but I want to see options at the end of the meal that are like, how much of the total would you like to pay? 100%? 50%? 25%? Please don't pay us less than that. We need to break even. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea. But hey, if it's really not that good of a meal, I don't know.
Thursday.
Feels good to go to a wedding. It's a fun time, joyous celebration. Yesterday for the big question, which we ask every Wednesday morning way too early, just to get some brain cells fired up again midweek, is what makes a great wedding great? That was the question posed just yesterday morning. We got some good responses as well. We got a great MC. We got a message about that, and I think that's totally key. At least it should be known that an MC can make or break a reception. For sure, I've been to ones where it's been a bit cringy. And other ones where you go, wow, they almost showed up the happy couple, right? Getting more attention. But a great MC, I think, is a great sign of a great wedding. An open bar is one that we got a few times, actually. A couple people messaging in yesterday. If it's got an open bar, we're going to have a good time. My friend still tells this story more than 10 years later of attending a wedding where the food just kept coming all through the reception, just more and more. And everything that came out was just so good, apparently. I kind of wish I was there. I was at a wedding a few years ago, and they had a build-your-own poutine bar that showed up at 11 p.m., and it was the best. The Killers have been presented with 2 Guinness World Records for their song Mr. Brightside. The band from Las Vegas has gotten some love from England, actually. As of the 4th of July, the 2 different accolades kind of are the same thing. The UK singles charts has now had them at 416 consecutive weeks, which is the longest from any group with a series of songs, but also it's the most on the UK single chart with 1 song. So that totaling to about 8 years of time, or just shy of, means double dose of the world record accolades and achievement. Now, Nirvana has decided to settle in a lawsuit with Marc Jacobs that also had a third party joining in, and it's all about their infamous smiley face icon that is on so many t-shirts that some people wearing them have never heard the music of the band. But it was in 2018 that the band sued Marc Jacobs International, the design house, because they put out a Redux grunge collection, and instead of just X's for the eyes in the smiley face with the tongue sticking out and the squiggly mouth, they had M and J for the designer's initials. Now, this of course had a countersuit come by the next year, and then even after that, Geffen Records art director Robert Fisher came out of the woodwork saying that it was his logo and that he owned the design and never got a penny for it. Well, Rolling Stone has reported that all 3 parties have come to an agreement of sorts and that a settlement is being drafted as we speak.
Hey Alexa, play the Steve Reeve podcast.
If we're paying so much for the endlessly expanding tiers of streaming service subscriptions, why can't we make a playlist, pick our favorite holiday episodes, or making a marathon of movies, which, yeah, sure, you can just, navigate to the next one right afterwards, but it's such a simple thing. I don't know why it's not in there. Or even at the very least, a shuffle option for a TV series. I saw someone make the argument that the element of surprise was part of the fun of watching The Simpsons on cable. Remember those days, back in the cable days? I honestly think that there is something to that.
By the way, you might want to put on a bathing suit, because you'll be channel surfing in no time.
He's so weird. I am a bit nostalgic, and I don't think that a shuffle option would be all that hard to implement. It's only been a feature of every single thing that plays media since the mid-1980s. Come on, Disney Plus, Netflix, Crave, Amazon Prime Video, all of you guys, figure it out. How young is too young to watch Deadpool and Wolverine? Now, this is something I've been saying since the very first Deadpool movie came out, back when Fox still was making X-Men movies. It's not for kids. Just because it's based on a comic book does not mean it's for kids. Some comics are very much for mature audiences only. And Deadpool has always been right there in there. And this actually becomes the very first Deadpool movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're kind of saying it's the true introduction to the X-Men in the MCU as well. And it becomes the very first R-rated movie of the Marvel slate, even though they kind of sort of absorbed all the other movies, including, I guess, the first one, R-rated movie, Blade, way back in the day. But in an interview with Variety, they had, of course, the stars, Ryan Reynolds, they had Hugh Jackman, and director Sean Levy asking a bunch of questions, or answering rather, and one of the questions was, it's the first R-rated movie for many Marvel fans. How young is too young to see this movie? Levy says it's R-rated, and I don't want to get in trouble by encouraging. Reynolds cuts him off to say, I do. And he says, so many kids have seen Deadpool and Deadpool 2. My own kids have seen it, and they came damaged. But it's never rated R just to be rated R. It's rated R as a choice because of the storytelling that they're going to be making. And he says his own character really has a brain about the size of a 7-year-old's in his brain. Hugh Jackman, the only responsible one, is saying, you got to be responsible. Don't bring a 2-year-old. To which director Sean Levy says, okay, fine. We draw the line at 3. Probably just stick with the R rating advisory and make your choices from there.
Friday.
Getting caught up on the news of the day, some of the headlines that are just hitting my eyes first thing in the morning. Yeah, atrocities after atrocities after atrocities. Yeah, okay. Not to be completely blind-eyed to that, but it is kind of a everyday thing. How about something more innocuous, something that has zero bearing on, your life or the planet or even the course of your day, like Kim Kardashian. Just about any news about her. But the latest, apparently, is that, not only did she think that getting a salmon reproductive material facial treatment, complete with injections, would be a good idea. Yes, salmon the fish. Yeah. Not only did she think that would be smart, she also thought it would be a good idea to tell anybody about it. Proving, once again, that money alone never made a person smart. It is time for a usual look at music news headlines. Really only got one story that's shaken up today, and it's yet another litigation tale in the world of music. The Beastie Boys, they are suing brand Chili's, big box brand of delicious food. They have apparently used Sabotage, the song, in a commercial without actually making any proper advancements in terms of licensing the song. It's really a parody. At least that's how they're claiming that they're getting away with it. Chili's Grill and Bar. Their 1994 Beastie Boys hit Sabotage, the basis for a spoof. But I guess it's not different enough, or that's not good enough for the Beastie Boys on their side. They say the lawyers have been put into action, and they are asking about $150,000 in damages. Probably a couple appetizers, too.
Thanks for listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
It has been a bit wild with our municipal council of late. It's just bizarre moments, a lot of infighting going on. It's kind of turning into, if you watch the meeting, it's a bit like a reality TV show episode, which I don't think is a good thing. I'm not using that as a positive. Oh, it's so entertaining. It doesn't need to be entertaining. It's municipal council. It's municipal governance. It's important. But the latest is that there is now a new rule in place. Basically, RMWB Council can now no longer skip the public notice, the public engagement part of things, unless it's an emergency. And I mean, the citing of the most recent usage of something like that was in May. Due to the wildfires near Fort McMurray. Sometimes an emergent situation needs quick decision making. I understand that. I really do. But for a situation like, hey, let's make us all full-time staff, yeah, maybe take a minute. Maybe don't do that all in one meeting at the very end of a meeting and suddenly make a weird decision that has awful ramifications and makes people feel like they can't trust municipal governance. I think that's exactly what happened. So, no longer can they skip public notice for motions requiring unanimous consent from mayor and council. This was a motion proposed by Councillor Ball, and had unanimous support. Only one vote not there because there was somebody absent from the meeting, but other than that, complete support. Funny that. Funny that. But I'm also happy for it, and happy that the previous motion of that full-time business was reconsidered officially. So I think that is good news, and expect more chances for your voice to actually be heard before any big decisions from municipal council. Who'd have thunk that was a great idea that should have already been in place? July 13th, Phil Collins, that was the day that he played both Live Aid concerts that were separated, by just the Atlantic Ocean. He was asked by Robert Plant while he was on tour in the States if he would maybe take part in Philadelphia's Live Aid. He said, yeah, sure, absolutely. But then Sting, in The Police, he said, hey, I'm playing Live Aid London. Do you want to come along? And he said, yeah, absolutely. I totally want to do that. What? Why would you say yes to both things? It's impossible. But not impossible because of the use of one of the fastest commercial planes that's ever been built, the Concorde jet. That allowed him to play early in the afternoon in London, take a plane to New York City, take a helicopter to Philadelphia. He was able to play alone in Philadelphia. He played with Eric Clapton. And then he even announced that he was going to be there for the return of Led Zeppelin back after 5 years with him playing the drums. Incredible feat, except for one person didn't like it. That would be Jimmy Page. He still, to this day, 39 years later, says, I don't know if that was a good idea.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruz FM.